And now the Adventures of Nick and Willikins.
This is England. Actually, that's a lie. We're really getting off on the wrong foot here. I don't want you thinking that I'm one of those unreliable narrators. No, this is not England at all. This is, in fact, a barely coherent caricature of England perpetrated by two men who have never even left North America. Consequently, the game you're about to play will almost certainly be riddled with inaccuracies, anachronisms, and bad accents. Like truly terrible accents you people don't even want to know. Anyway, they dragged me out of retirement to tell this story, and I'm not about to waste my extremely valuable time defending the ill-conceived choices of its writers. So, moving on. This is England. And this is the ancestral home of the wealthy and powerful Nick family, currently presided over by its last surviving male heir, young Nick of Nick Hall. Assisting Nick in the extremely complicated business of washing and dressing himself, along with the general maintenance of Nick Hall itself, we have this man. He answers to the name Willikins, but his young master has called him so many other things. Willikins is also one of the last of a dying breed. A breed of dedicated manservants tirelessly devoted to the well-being of their assigned charges, no matter the circumstances.
I cannot overstress the importance of following the instructions of one's master, no matter how seemingly misguided, unethical, or even mortally dangerous they might be. Ours is to serve, not to question. All of this being said, one does have some latitude when it comes to addressing one's betters. Traditionally, it is acceptable to adopt one of the three basic attitudes, as observed and practiced by the great Western powers of servitude. The first, and one to which I must admit a bit of bias, is the British method, which stresses politeness and civility. This method is kind without being overly familiar, good enough to sustain an empire of nearly 1,000 years, so certainly good enough for the likes of you. Second is the one preferred by our American brethren, the friendly approach, presenting the illusion of being the master's equal, despite the fact that you both clearly know which of you is the lord and which is the lorded. Finally, there's the aggressive method, typically employed by our old friends, the Germans. No great surprise there, while obviously not advocating outright hostility towards the master. It does emphasize the notion that even the most noble among us may, on occasion, require a bit of helpful prodding. Right, so, young Willikins, kindly choose one of these methods and demonstrate it to me and the rest of the class.
As you wish, sir.
Ah, the classic, polite, British method. Trying to get on my good side then, eh, boy? Mr. Willikins, you'll make a fine manservant someday.
Willikins, you're the worst manservant what ever lived. Now stop daydreaming about your boring past and tend to my needs.
So begins another exhausting day for me here at Nick Hall.
Too right, Willikins. As per our usual routine, I have prepared an itinerary of daily activities for you.
Oh, good.
Item 1. Much like the princess in that story about the wee-stained mattress, I have detected something amiss with my bed. Have a look under there, won't you?
Very good, sir. Ah, so there is something under here. A charger for a mobile phone.
That's what we call cellular phones in England.
Rather. I'll just tidy this up then.
Adequate job, Willikins. 5 out of 10. Honestly, you must try harder.
Oh, must I?
Now then, item the second. I'm hungry.
You're mungry, sir?
Hungry, with an H. Now, I know you have some food scribbled away on your person, and I demand that you feed it to me forthwith and hence. Here too. And such.
I'm not sure why I bother. He'll inevitably reject this and any subsequent offerings, no matter what they are. Sums up my existence rather neatly, I suppose. Pizza, hamburger, sir.
Cool, that old thing, you made me that yesterday. It's rubbish. Bung it down a loo.
Of course, sir. That'll be the first of, no doubt, many then. Hilarious. These are meant to say N plus S, meaning us. No, I don't get it either. Also, that's not actually what they say, so I suppose that's as close to resolved as we're likely to get round here. That's Mr. Quacker's. He's mine, and I love him. Here in England, we refer to the esteemed gentleman as Master Bubble. Where there was one set of footprints, that's where I was carrying you. Inspiring. This is a device for cleaning French bums. It's criminally underused. There appears to be some writing on that bottle, but I can't read it from here.
Cool, Willikins! Am I owed a tax incentive for employing an illiterate?
You've never paid a tax in your life, sir. In fact, I'm rather concerned that...
Nobody cares what you think, Willikins. You can't even read.
These were prescribed by Master Nick's personal psychiatrist, Dr. Gesund. The label details the type of medication, recommended dosage, and a contact number for the good doctor. Under the cotton ball in this bottle is another cotton ball.
It's cotton balls all the way down, Willikins.
Makes water appear as though by magic.
Say it right.
Oh, I do beg your pardon. As though by magic.
Now that important business is settled, I want you to go downstairs and prepare me some proper brekkie. You know what I like. I want you to take at least 2 seemingly incompatible food items and combine them in a new and interesting way. Or an old and boring way, what I've forgotten about. Go on, off you go.
Very good, sir.
Oh, and Willikins,
Sir?
remember it's Thursday, which means you may only prepare the items on my revised menu of foods what I will only eat on Thursdays. You will know these foods when you see them.
Right, that thing. Very, as I said once already, good, sir. Look, kids, Big Ben, Parliament. He named the dog Willikins, which I was sure would cause confusion.
Not for me, it doesn't.
That settles that, then. Somewhat surprisingly, the musculature of this statue is in no way exaggerated. Oh, that's a bad miss. Master Nick planted the other antler in the back garden some time ago, and yet no deer have sprouted in that spot. Not actually the last unicorn as seen in the book and the movie of the same name. This is, in fact, the penultimate unicorn. Behold the thylacine. All right, I'm beholding. Now what? Master Nick insists that Antelope rhymes with Penelope. I'll say this for Master Nick, he's a stickler for symmetry, fearful or otherwise. Ah, the king of the jungle. Except the part where lions don't live in jungles, nor do they have royalty. So they're basically Americans. It's stuck on the channel that tells you what's on the other channels that aren't this one. Until someone can get out and fix the satellite aerial, I'm afraid this is our only option.
Well then, go ahead and bloody fix it already.
Miss Petunia has threatened castration if I so much as go near her cuppa. I assume she means me, but I'd rather not find out, to be honest. Another lovely morning at Nick Hall. Wouldn't you agree, Miss Petunia?
Cool, it'd be lovely if you just acknowledge the unconsummated tension between us.
Ah, so we're getting an early start on that then, are we?
All I'm saying is, a lady of my advanced years could teach you a thing or two. I've known a lot of gentlemen in my day, biblically, I mean, and in both houses of sexual congress, if you take my meaning.
I do, unfortunately, but now I must be literally anywhere other than here. Good day, Mum. A thrilling depiction of that time some blokes threatened a vicar with a cannon and also sang a song to him. Some conspiracy nutters believe there's a cryptic message of some sort hidden in this illustration. Master Nick typically dines alone and seats himself here at the head of the table. On occasion, he'll ask me to join him at what he calls the arse of the table. We don't actually know this person. I believe we purchased this painting in an estate sale of some kind. An ancient ancestor of Master Nick's with whom he was also once romantically involved. Our history, like the history of most great English families, is complicated and a bit incestuous. I'm not actually allowed to serve anything from these. Master Nick says they're the good plates, and he's saving them for a less rubbish person to put food on them for me. Master Nick's Thursday menu does indeed allow for this particular ingredient. Master Nick's Thursday menu does indeed allow for this particular ingredient. Everything in here, no matter how disgusting it may appear to an outsider, is a completely viable culinary option for any self-respecting Englishman. Or indeed for Master Nick, but I'm only authorized to prepare foods on his lordship's ever-evolving Thursday menu today. When you simply must have the briny, disgusting flavor of ruined cucumbers seeping into any food that has the misfortune of touching it. I've heard it said that a true Englishman finds Marmite not only palatable but delicious. If this is the case, vive la France, I suppose. Keep your filthy jokes to yourself, please. We try our best, despite appearances to the contrary, to maintain an air of dignity here. Could be worse, could be chocolate smoothie. Not even the 16th most disgusting food item in this house. Oh, this is indeed a real thing. Look it up, nerds. Some cultures might look at an animal's organ and deem it inedible. But those cultures aren't British. Jarred, one assumes, by Olivia herself. Despite what Master Nick may have told you, these are neither musical nor a fruit. Jelly is what you call jello. Jam is what you call jelly. And this is something else altogether. Do try to keep up. Good. There appears to be something hidden just beneath this top layer of potatoes. Master Nick has rather cleverly hidden his cold, soggy chips under these raw potatoes. Well, you can't deny there's a certain logic to that. Master Nick's Thursday menu does indeed allow for this particular ingredient. The H is most decidedly not silent. A fine, upstanding British fish if I ever saw one. Well, technically these aren't so much upstanding as they are down-hanging, but the point remains. Well, now I've got a haddock. In medieval times, that was used to wash clothes in. Now it's mostly for preparing something that Master Nick calls trouser stew. Perfect for raw chicken, raw pork, and any other disease-carrying slabs of unprepared animal flesh. These were not here an hour ago, and I know for a fact that Master Nick has not left his bedroom since then. He must have some sort of hidden dumbwaiter or something. An impulse purchase after Master Nick went through his Yan can cook phase. Unsurprisingly, it's never been used. Well, for food preparation at any rate. It's a fish. It has all the properties one has come to expect from a fish. He's dead and his eyes are closed, but I still feel like he's watching me. All great English homes have tea. I'd commit ritual suicide if we didn't. So naturally, Master Nick regularly tries to surreptitiously dispose of this tea to make me do that. Hilarious. This contains file cards with some of the most sumptuous dishes ever concocted. I've never once opened this box in all the years I've worked here. If I had £1 for every time I've had to explain what Jaffa cakes are to non-British people, I'd be dead. These are just biscuits. They've nothing to do with digestion. You say apricot, and I say apricot. Only one of us is correct. And it's me. Ladies and gentlemen, salt and pepper. Not only will Master Nick not tell me what's in this bottle, he refuses to allow anyone to touch it, which is what this note is about. Frankly, I don't know whether to be confused or excited by this one. A wretched wine of scum and possibly also grapes, though I can't be completely certain of this. Stuck away in storage when Master Nick couldn't work out how to type with them on. We used to store this on a top shelf, but it kept rolling down and hitting Master Nick on the head, concussing all manner of alternate personalities into him. A gift from our neighbor who claims to be in the sanitation industry. This would be tree number 36, I believe. I finally convinced Master Nick that the Victorian practice of decorating with working candles was, to put it mildly, unsafe. It's made of apples. Well, mostly apples. If my upper lip were any stiffer, my face wouldn't work. I'd rather not if it's all the same. Best to leave that where it is. It's a load-bearing muppet. Best to leave that where it is. It's a load-bearing muppet. Every time I straighten that, Master Nick comes down here to crooked it. It's the only time he ever comes down here. Strategically placed to drip directly on my face whilst I sleep, regardless of the angle. I got 20% off this mattress using a code I heard on a podcast. It's actually much itchier and pointier than it looks, and it already looks quite itchy and pointy. Ironically, that rodent is the cleanest thing in this room. If my upper lip were any stiffer, my face wouldn't work. Master Nick believes this is my favorite toy, but it doesn't even squeak. You can't see it from this angle, but they say hamdingers on the side. Great. Sausages on toast is Master Nick's Cockney rhyming slang for sausages on toast. Not quite sure he's got the hang of that. I've already prepared a breakfast course for Master Nick. Mustn't waste food. Until he orders me to bung it down the loo, that is. I have no snark to offer here. I'm quite sincerely fond of how those candles flicker. The grounds of Nick Hall are currently under extensive renovations in keeping with Master Nick's latest pet project, the Hedge Maze of Doom.
Positively revolting. Honestly, Willikins, I don't know what you think you're bloody doing in that kitchen, but I've half a mind to just say sod it and prepare my own brekkie.
Indeed, sir.
Now bung this down a loo and make me something else.
Rubbish goes in here.
And yet you're not in it.
And they say we British don't take good care of our teeth.
I've never seen that object before in my life. Now get your bum, and the rest of you, down to the kitchen and make me a proper meal. You know what they say, Willikins. Third time's probably going to be rubbish as well, because everything you do is rubbish.
Is that what they say, sir?
Well, that's what I say.
Master Nick made one of the guards at Buckingham Palace laugh, and so, in keeping with ancient tradition, he was allowed to keep the hat. From Master Nick's great white hunter phase, until he realized he was only one of those three things. Ah yes, the famous deerstalker hat, as made famous, of course, by the great American author, Mark Twain. Is there anything more quintessentially British? Only if you eat beans directly out of this hat. Which, of course, Master Nick has done. Net zero. I have no idea who this is. I'd like to see an American try to plug something in here. In theory, this mobile phone is a vast improvement over the old landlines. But this model won't stay charged for more than 15 seconds, so it might as well be a bloody landline. That squiggly L represents the most robust currency on the planet. Show some bloody respect. Master Nick likes to pair this one with his strangely erect necktie. Hello, third wig. I regularly have to assure Master Nick that a boogied man does not, in fact, reside inside this wardrobe. Sock it to me? Actually, we call these trousers. Like all cartoon characters, Master Nick only truly has one change of clothes, and this is it. This seems impractical. It's a cane. It does caney things. Move along. Capable of flight, as are all standard British umbrellas. Sadly, I am not licensed to operate it. Patriotism in its purest form, a necktie. It's still bloody charging, because of course it is, so I'll just leave it here and use the speaker function. This dials Master Nick's psychiatrist, Dr. Gisund. The line is engaged, perhaps later. Well, I can't be sure, but I expect this does not bode well.
Has Nick done something untoward? Is it even possible to do something toward? And if he has, will Willikins remain loyal per the rigidly binding ancient codes of English servitude? Find out, well, now. Seriously, you didn't think we'd just stop here, did you? Who would give you just part of a game? That's just cruel.
That came from the entrance hall. Much as I am loath to do so, I suppose it's my duty to investigate. I'm certain there was no corpse in this room when I tidied in here earlier. I suppose I'd better phone someone about this. I dare say he looks familiar, but it's difficult to tell with him lying face down like that. Also, I'm certain I don't know any corpses. I really should call someone about this. There's only one telephone in this house, and it's currently upstairs somewhere. I believe this one is called "The Unicorn is in Captivity and Wishes It Was Still Dead." Exquisite. One assumes he's in there somewhere, given the alternative, that he's actually gotten up off his arse. Terribly sorry to disturb you, sir, but it would seem...
I don't know anything about anything, Willikins. Now handle it.
What exactly should I be handling if you don't even...
I don't know what you get up to. Just find something what requires handling and then handle it. I'll be here, in my bed, being nonchalant and, above all, completely unsuspicious.
Master Nick is convinced he's a vampire, and it would break his heart to discover otherwise.
Emergency services, how may I direct your call?
Good morning. I hate to ruin what is almost certainly a lovely day for you there at Emergency Services, but...
Is that Willikins?
Yes it is. I'm calling to report...
Call, this is Beryl.
Ah, Beryl.
Beryl Davies, I was Lady Petunia's chambermaid.
Ah, yes, of course. Listen, Beryl, I hate to be rude, but there's been a murder.
Is that Willikins? I spent some of the best days of my life in Nick Hall, I did. Playing noughts and crosses with her ladyship. Teaching Master Nick how to play snakes and ladders. Devising a bizarre hybrid of the two called snakes and crosses. Anyway, that's when I married Nigel. Sorry, love, do you have an actual emergency? I just realized I've been prattling on for quite some time now.
As it happens, yes. We've had a murder, so if it's not too much trouble...
A murder? How exciting. You hear all sorts of exciting things in this job, like, for instance, there was this one time they found a guy with a knife in his back. So we'll get an officer out there as soon as possible. And you'll be there for my sister's wedding, of course.
Wouldn't miss it.
Morning all. I'm Detective Inspector Bobby of the West End Particulars.
Inspector Bobby of the Yard?
That'll be enough of that. Now then, I'm here about the corpse in your entrance hall.
Oh, that thing.
And this would seem to be a rather open and shut case. The victim, one Errol of Nick Hall, has clearly been murdered by you, Nick of Nick Hall.
You got nothing on me, coppers.
Actually, we've got quite a bit on you, sir. But under the circumstances being that you're rich, white, and clearly male, we can remand you to your residence of domesticity forthwith, and until such time as the court sees fit to hang you by your neck until dead.
That seems fair.
Oh, then I wasn't clear, was I? You, sir, are accused of murder and will be taking you away shortly. This will be very sad for you, and obviously for your manservant.
Yes, obviously.
So, just stay here and we'll be back for you soon. Cheerio!
Do people actually say cheerio?
If you like, I could look up the current usage and etymology of the expression for you.
What? Which expression? I'm already bored with this conversation. What else you got?
Gentlemen, a crime has been committed, and it can only be solved by me, the greatest detective in all of England.
Oh, is that where we are?
Allow me to introduce myself. Special Inspector Clever Ruse at your service.
Well, if you're at my service, make me an egg.
My God, has this man been deprived of his breakfast? That in itself is a tragedy, but not a crime as such. Nevertheless, it's the most important meal of the day. Who's responsible for this grievous error in judgment?
That would be me,
You look after this lad, do you?
in a manner of speaking.
So clearly this incident is your fault.
Ooh, I hadn't considered that angle.
That's because you're not Clever Ruse, lad.
Sorry, not sure I'm following the logic here. How is this my fault? Are we going with the tired old butler did it cliché?
For all we know, the tired old butler did do it.
No. You misunderstand. Obviously, you're a man of breeding, sophistication, education. Oxford man, are you?
Cambridge, actually.
Oh. Well, we can't have everything, I suppose. In any case, they should have taught you. Even at a bin-liner school like Cambridge.
It was recently ranked the 4th best university in the world.
So not even worth a bronze, then, right? Your master's safety and well-being is your responsibility. Consequently, it falls to you to exonerate his lordship.
Really, I would have thought the great detective.
Here, take this. It's the official Clever Ruse My First Crime Scene Investigation colouring book. And that's colouring with a U, naturally.
Naturally.
This will guide even the most thick-witted Cambridge dunderhead through the process of forensic murder solvery. Essentially, it comes down to 4 elements. Motive, murder weapon, at least one corroborating witness, and proof of the suspect's sanity.
Good luck with all that, Willikins.
As you locate each of these, you may colour in, and that's colour with a U, the corresponding area of the page. When you've coloured the entire page, phone me, and I shall be along at once. Clever Ruse, away!
Oh, Willikins, did he just disappear in a cloud of smoke?
So it would appear.
Or disappear? Huh? Do you get it? Willikins? You still there?
dare say he looks familiar, but it's difficult to tell with him lying face down like that. Also, I'm certain I don't know any corpses. Getting an idea of who this was and why he's here would be an excellent idea, and this police tape is hardly going to stop me. But I'd rather not contaminate the crime scene with my own fingerprints. We had to pay that tiger 60 quid to lie down and pose for that. Oddly, the puppet's lips never moved, but Master Nick's did. Don't know why that dog's so unhappy. It makes more in a year than I do. This used to open, revealing a button that did nothing. Mercifully, it's since been sealed shut. There was once a descriptive audio service that accompanied this painting, filling the hall with a constant ear-piercing howling. Somehow it became disengaged. Who knows how these things happen? Master Nick modelled for this one by pressing his face against the screen door. This was identical to the bust over there, but we left it on the dash of the car on a hot day. This isn't a painting, it's a plant. It's a door. We don't have a special word for door here. It's the same as your American doors. Not actually an edible arrangement, though I've been ordered to test that on more than one occasion. Perfect for raw chicken, raw pork, and any other disease-carrying slabs of unprepared animal flesh. It would appear that a brand new pair of rubber gloves, or hand wellies as Master Nick calls them, has fallen into the bin. Perhaps I should finish rescuing Master Nick from certain death by hanging before I resume preparing his breakfast. I can't quite reach to turn him over, but I did manage to dislodge the man's wallet. There's very little in here. The identification says his name is... it's Errol. The general ruffian and ne'er-do-well who frequently burgles our home. There also appears to be a note here that says, In case of emergency, call this number. Well, that certainly sounds like a clue. I dare say he looks familiar, but it's difficult to tell with him lying face down like that. Also, I'm certain I don't know any corpses. There's nothing particularly special about this one either, except that this one is a vase. I've always thought this thing was a bit unsettling, but I'm also fairly certain that there should be two of them. Surely one of them didn't just get up and walk away, though, did it? And do I actually want an answer to this question? This was left by an activist of some sort. It appears to have been left here somewhere around the time our deceased friend arrived in the entrance hall. It seems that someone attempted to deliver a package around the time of the murder. I wonder if the delivery person saw anything. It appears to have one of those bloody QR codes on it that everyone seems to think people actually use. This one looks more like an owl to me. This is where the birds live. I know how he feels. I want to vomit all the time, too.
Daffodils, those are for heroism. Daisies, they're for baking. Rosemary? I can't recall what rosemary's for.
Master Nick believes this is a TARDIS. A vast improvement over that time he believed it was a Portaloo. This hedge maze began as a topiary animal, a very tall, very square snake.
Azaleas, that's for good luck in the coming fiscal year.
It's just a jumble of numbers and letters which apparently communicate some vital piece of information to the Royal Mail. It says 00D4L4Y.
Marigolds, that's for gems, like the kind of fruit in.
It's called the Hedge Maze of Doom for a reason. I dare not venture any further.
Morning Glory, that's for, ironically enough,
This has been struck by lightning 37 times, which is 3 less times than I have.
For breakfast.
Good morning. Beautiful day, isn't it? Could you step outside the hedge for a moment? I'd like to have a little chat with you, if I may.
I suppose it is a beautiful day at that. My mind's sort of wrapped up in my studies at the moment. What can I do for you?
You may have heard some commotion earlier. Nothing to be too concerned about. There's just been a murder.
Goodness!
Quite the opposite, in fact. In any event, I am endeavoring to discover precisely what happened, and I was wondering if you might offer some insight into... if you managed to see any of the events that took place inside the hall earlier today.
I'm afraid not, Mr. Willikins. My duties do keep me pretty well occupied inside this maze.
I suspected as much.
However,
you say?
However, I did hear a delivery truck pull up around that time. I don't know if that's at all relevant.
It may actually be. Thank you, miss. You've been a tremendous help. hedge maze, is it? Wonderful work you're doing here.
I'm just doing as the times instruct me to, sir. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must get back to it.
I've another question about the murder, specifically the motive. More specifically, why anyone might wish to kill the gentleman in question.
Couldn't say, sir. My only experience with killing involves weeds. And insects. And the occasional vole. Turns out I'm a much more experienced killer than I realized. Still, can't help you here, though, I'm afraid.
I've another question about the murder, specifically some way of providing proof of Master Nick's sanity.
Well, the proof's in the pudding, right? Isn't that what they say?
It is a thing that some people say, yes?
I'm afraid I may not be your best source for sanity, Mr. Willikins. But good luck with that.
That's exactly what Master Nick said. I've another question about the murder, specifically the murder weapon. You obviously deal with a number of rather lethal implements in your duties here. Could one of them have made a hole about 20 centimeters in diameter in a man's torso?
Nothing like that in here, Mr. Willikins. That sounds like a railroad spike or some such. But I know Master Nick cancelled the railroad maze and sent that crew home months ago.
Ah, yes, I'd almost forgotten about the railroad maze.
Chrysanthemums. That's for someone else to pronounce, blimey. Columbine, that's too soon.
Well, if you insist. Here I am.
It's about bloody time. Hello, this is Nick.
Sir, I'm trying to determine who may have had a connection to the body in our entrance hall. Why on earth would you be answering a number that I found in the deceased's pocket?
Errol. As you know, Willikins, Errol's my friend. But I did tell him that he'd better not rob us again or I'd bloody kill him.
Sir, you've put me in a very awkward position here because I do appear to have found a motive for Errol's murder. However, that motive belongs to you.
Finally, you did something right.
No, sir, this means you're still very much a suspect.
Well, obviously you're not going to say that to the detective since you're duty-bound to protect me. So, I don't know, tell him someone else had a motive. I'm sure you can make up some lie or another. You somehow convinced my family you were a decent butler when you were hired, so you're obviously extremely skilled at deception.
Welcome to Stuff Bringers Intercontinental, a division of Ed Arnold Industries, a subsidiary of Corpco International LLC. If you're calling to inquire about a delivery, please say the 64-digit tracking number now.
613.
Or, if you'd prefer to speak to an operator, simply say, operator.
Oh, thank heavens. Operator.
I heard you say, operator. Is this correct?
Yes.
Please hold. An operator will be with you shortly.
While I was walking through the hill, I heard a wail, 'twas mighty shrill, a weeping made by the twin pine small, heard her sob, I saw her.
on. Freak the sucker to the freaking dawn. Put my love at your skull, y'all, just like this. Fix verses in your hands, pop, pop, pop.
Stuffbringers Intercontinental, this is Deirdre. How may I help you?
Hello, miss. I don't mean to trouble you, but we've had a rather unfortunate incident here at Nick Hall, and I was hoping I might speak with a delivery driver of yours who came by earlier today.
Do you have the delivery slip that the driver left behind?
I have, yes.
And could you describe to me the animal that the QR code on the slip most closely resembles?
An owl. Definitely an owl.
Good, good. Right, now then, what is your postcode?
Of course. Our postcode is 00D4L4Y.
Good, good. Now then, I'll need the name of two of any of the recipient's direct ancestors.
Lady Beatrice. Her painted likeness smiles upon me every time I pass through our dining room.
Right, that's one.
Well, there's good great-aunt Petunia, who lives downstairs.
Excellent, sir. That was all I required.
Oh, really? Only that?
I shall now connect you to the delivery driver you're trying to reach. Please hold.
Very well.
Stuffbringers Intercontinental, this is Deirdre. How may I help you?
Oh, no. Hello again, Deirdre. I thought I was to be connected to the delivery driver.
Yes, speaking. A lady can drive a truck and answer phones, you know.
I suppose you truly can have it all, then. Listen, there was a rather unpleasant incident here at the hall this morning, and I was wondering if you'd seen anything untoward during your visit.
You mean the murder?
Yes, that is exactly what I mean.
As it happens, I did see the incident, yes, sir. However, in order to provide you with further details, I shall need you to fill out Inquiry Form 6B and speak with my manager. I'm just fooling with you, sir. What, do you need me to call the police and promise to report what I saw as an official witness?
That would be wonderful, yes, thank you. And if it's not too much trouble, could you tell me what you saw first?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you, sir. Goodbye!
This is the head shrinking doctor. How may I assist you?
I beg your pardon, I was trying to reach a Dr. Gesund.
Ja, speaking. Dr. Gesund at your service.
In England?
Terribly sorry about that. I've been brushing up on my German accent, you know. Seems I'm taken much more seriously when people believe I'm German for some reason. How may I help you?
Good morning. I'm the butler/valet/footman/cook/chauffeur at Nick Hall, and due to a series of circumstances too lengthy and complicated to get into at the moment, I require some kind of certified proof that Master Nick is, in fact, sane. Legally speaking.
Nick of Nick Hall, is it? Well, I can't give that information to the likes of you, of course.
Ah, yes, medical ethics.
What? No, because you're a lowly servant. However, as it happens, I issued just such a certificate to the patient's only surviving relative.
Right, thank you.
It's been a right argy-bargy out there this morning, and I was described as a full-on foofera. What on earth is going on?
There's been a murder. How could you possibly have not realized this from only 2 rooms away?
Well, in future, see that you keep your so-called manners someplace where I can't hear them. I nearly couldn't get back to sleep after all that racket.
Good morning, Miss Petunia. You're holding up well after the recent unpleasantness.
I always hold up well. Quite firmly, some might say.
Some presumably must, yes. It has come to my attention that you have the official certification of Master Nick's sanity. In order to exonerate his lordship, I shall require this paperwork at once.
I shall require a sensual back rub, but I don't see no Fabio here to deliver me one. Stop wasting my time, you less interesting lurch.
I must insist that you hand over Master Nick's sanity certificate at once.
And I must insist you stop whispering things in my ear that ain't sweet nothings.
Perhaps, painful as it might prove to be in the short term, I should attempt a friendlier approach next time. Just hurry up and get through this, Willikins. It's for the greater good. Just lie back and think of England. Good morning, beautiful.
Oh, beautiful, is it?
That, and so much more. I scarcely have the words to fully quantify your loveliness, my dear.
Well, perhaps you'd have learned them if you hadn't gone to bloody Cambridge.
Indeed. So, my lovely, would it be too out of line to request a very small favour from the most stunningly gorgeous creature I've ever laid eyes on?
Oh, well, I suppose not. But you'll have to do something for me.
Name it and it's yours. Anything for you.
Oh, give us a little turn round.
I beg your pardon?
Just give us a good look at the whole package, if you gets my meaning. Nice and slow.
Very well.
Ooh, delightful! That one's going in the old WB, I can assure you.
WB, Mum?
The second word is bank. First word rhymes with that. Now let's see. I hid that paper some time ago for young Nick's own protection, and I wrote down where I hid it on this paper. Here you are, dear.
This appears to be in some sort of code.
Yes, that's right. I used a decoder ring I got from an American cartoon show I rather fancy. Unfortunately, I lost that ring, so you'll have to get another. But that shouldn't be too difficult for the likes of you.
I wouldn't have expected you to be a fan of American cartoon programs, miss.
What you don't know about me could fill a bloody town, boy. Now, bugger off. I'm done with you now, and I've important business to attend to here.
Much of this plan has yet to be incorporated, so this is useless as a map until the bloody thing is completed. Which, assuming this goes as Master Nick's other projects are gone, it never will be. This is, allegedly, the location where Miss Petunia hid the certification of Master Nick's sanity. For reasons that are probably clear to her, it's written in a code that can only be deciphered using a special decoder ring from an American television program. Hello again, my dear.
Oh, with talk like that, you're liable to melt the lead paint right off my knickers.
Yes, rather. Could you remind me again why this note you gave me is not so much decipherable as it is the opposite of that?
It's in a secret code, like what the lovely Alan Turing used in the war. I used to babysit that clever little bugger when he was a nipper.
Good lord, exactly how old are you?
A lady never tells, Mr. Willikins.
A true gentleman's pursuit, so naturally Master Nick hasn't come anywhere near these. I fear I did all the reading I'm ever likely to do at Cambridge. Master Nick has threatened to have my eyes hobbled if I'm ever caught with a book. I'd prefer not to learn what he means by that if it's all the same. Behold the thylacine. Alright, I'm beholding. Now what? No, thank you. This was identical to the bust over there, but we left it on the dash of the car on a hot day. This is, allegedly, the location where Miss Petunia hid the certification of Master Nick's sanity. For reasons that are probably clear to her, it's written in a code that can only be deciphered using a special decoder ring from an American television program. I can't see much point in doing that. Bit of a reach, don't you think? That detective fellow gave me this. It's meant to track my progress in gathering the 4 elements that can exonerate Master Nick. Motive, murder weapon, proof of sanity, and a witness. As of now, I've managed to locate a witness, a motive. I'll say this for Master Nick, he's a stickler for symmetry, fearful or otherwise. A true gentleman's pursuit, so naturally Master Nick hasn't come anywhere near these. The official name for these is Other Swords. I suppose that helps distinguish them from the, other swords. One day Master Nick will almost certainly pull one or both of these from the wall and then swing on the chandelier. Which is why I've already invested in a special broom for cleaning his bloody footprints off the wall. We don't actually know this person. I believe we purchased this painting in an estate sale of some kind. I dare speculate what's even in this bottle. I'm dead certain it isn't wine. Stuck away in storage when Master Nick couldn't work out how to type with them on. Technically, this is the sequel, Mannequin 2 on the Move. The original was, as is so often true, far superior. Best to leave that where it is. It's a load-bearing muppet. Best to leave that where it is. It's a load-bearing muppet. Great. Inspired after a trip to the bank, Master Nick insisted that we have this knife secured to the counter to prevent it being stolen. It's probably best if he doesn't know about all the other items around the hole that I'm carrying around with me at any given moment. There will be plenty of time for that later. And later still. And pretty much on into infinity. You're witnessing a rare moment in which I have something other than pointless mopping up to do.
Well, you can stay out of there. That area is off limits to you.
Blay, hello!
Hello, I see you visited our home recently, and I was hoping you wouldn't mind answering a question or two for me.
Before you ask your questions, I have a question for you. How many chlorofluorocarbons is an acceptable number of chlorofluorocarbons?
The seasoning you get when you order a Chinese?
No, that's monosodium glutamate. Also bad. You mortals are so woefully ignorant about this planet and its precious resources. The answer, by the way, was none. None chlorofluorocarbons. Ha 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 ha.
Wait, mortals? Are you not a mortal?
No, I'm a vampire. Can't you tell? Bleh.
I thought it might be rude to assume.
Listen, I could potentially leave for eternity, and I'd rather not do it on a world choked with styrofoam Big Mac containers and plastic shopping bags.
I believe we call those, respectively, polystyrene and polyethylene.
I don't care what you call them. Just stop throwing them into the ocean.
So, this is why you came to our home this morning, to lecture us about going green?
Correct. I hate going out during the day for obvious reasons, but my car runs on clean solar energy. Such irony is the story of my life. Or unlife, if you prefer.
I most certainly do not. Now, as much as I'd love to continue this conversation into eternity, I shall come to the point. Did you happen to witness, or I suppose cause, the murder that took place here earlier?
Certainly not. Decomposing corpses are the absolute worst greenhouse gas emitters. Had I encountered one, I would have done everything in my power to get it on ice, because...
Yes, very well. I've heard all I need, thank you.
I could come by again with some literature. Printed on recycled paper, of course.
Thank you, good day. It seems that someone attempted to deliver a package around the time of the murder. I wonder if the delivery person saw anything. It appears to have one of those bloody QR codes on it that everyone seems to think people actually use. This one looks more like an owl to me. No. That detective fellow gave me this. It's meant to track my progress in gathering the 4 elements that can exonerate Master Nick. Motive, murder weapon, proof of sanity, and a witness. As of now, I've managed to locate a witness. A motive. I'd rather not if it's all the same. That's not a drawer, it's just painted on. It opens and it closes. Around here that counts as dual purpose. It opens and it closes. Around here that counts as dual purpose. Ah, yes, for those occasions when Master Nick feels like resembling a turtle. Or as we typically call it, Wednesday. It's a coat. Did you really expect a unique remark for each of these items? This seems impractical. This seems impractical. It's a cane. It does caney things. Move along. These clothes have been freshly laundered, but now they're affixed to the floor with sock glue. Hello, Sam. I mean, Max. Bow ties have never been cool. Well, aren't I a hoopy frood? Here in England, we refer to the esteemed gentleman as Master Bubble. Oh, bother, the deer's run off. It's a rubbish bin. Rubbish goes in here.
And yet you're not in it!
The dog's bed costs more than I make in a decade. So naturally the little bastard hasn't touched the thing in at least as long. I'm honestly not sure if Master Nick has found a dog food that strongly resembles diamonds, or if he's trained his mangy little dog to actually eat diamonds. Neither would surprise me. Master Nick's great good Unc Grendel Thaddeus Q. Nickington IV. And some unknown gentleman upon his back. If I were a cat, I would knock this off the table. But I'm not, so I won't. I hate this thing. It knows why.
Willikins, stay out of there. That area is off limits to you.
Excuse me, Master Nick.
Willikins, you heard that quirky detective. Stop running your bloody gob and go exonerating me of this crime. Also, I think he said something about a colouring book.
Ah, yes. My goals have indeed been clearly demarcated in the form of a child's activity book. Though surely you mean colouring, sir?
Why, what did I say?
All right, sir. That's about enough of you lounging about in there. I require you to come out immediately and help me determine what happened to the dead fellow downstairs. Well, that's more or less the reaction I expected. Sir, I must insist that you allow me to look under your bed.
Willikins, I've decided to try being indecisive. I always wanted to be a logical paradox.
Really, sir? Is that what you've always wanted to be today?
And so, in answer to the question, may I look under the bed, I say to you, I don't know.
You don't know?
That's right.
Sir, you realize I'm doing all of this to exonerate you of the rather serious murder charges that are currently hanging over you.
Then you better help me make up my mind quickly, hadn't you?
Very well. Yes, I may look under your bed.
Not good enough. I need you to introduce some kind of random element. A device of some sort that will make the decision for me in a satisfyingly unpredictable fashion.
Sir, you're just needlessly complicating things at this point.
Oh, you always say that. Now off you go.
I don't suppose you have any sort of documented proof of your own sanity lying about, sir.
What makes you think I'm sane, Willikins?
Because that would diminish the very real struggle undertaken by genuinely mentally ill people. You're not insane, sir. You're just an arsehole.
I feel like I should be offended by that, Willikins. Am I offended by that?
Oh, probably, but then you noticed something shiny and forgot all about it.
Forgot all about what?
Sir, the corpse in our entrance hall.
I thought it was a foyer. Foyer? Foyer. God, how do you say that anyway?
We'll circle back to that. My concern is the gaping hole in said corpse, and I was hoping you might have some insight as to what may have created it.
Willikins, what have I told you about hope?
You say that hope is the thing with feathers, and I should consider myself allergic to feathers.
Too right.
Except when I'm tending to your pet budgie.
And the budgie's the exception that proves the rule, isn't it? Willikins, stay out of there. That area is off limits to you.
I'd rather not if it's all the same. It's stuck on the channel that tells you what's on the other channels that aren't this one. Until someone can get out and fix the satellite aerial, I'm afraid this is our only option.
Well then, go ahead and bloody fix it already!
Reading all these books is kind of a waste of time. Nothing interesting here. Reading all these books is kind of a waste of time. Nothing interesting here. It opens and it closes. Around here that counts as dual purpose. It's still warm from where the dog was lying. Well, this should fit Master Nick's rather arbitrary requirements for a device to help him make decisions. I'd prefer it if the thing said yes, but we can't have everything, I suppose. Or if you're me, anything. These are for purely scientific purposes. They contain molasses, and they're only to be used in January. I won't deny that the thought of poisoning Master Nick has occasionally crossed my mind, but I would never actually go through with it. Probably. Almost certainly. Left over from Master Nick's short-lived cowboy phase, I lost count of the times I ended up hog-tied by this wretched thing. I'll just draw myself a straight path to the center of the maze. And that's center and not center, obviously. I've discreetly drawn myself a path directly through the hedge maze in hopes of bypassing my inevitable demise therein. I've always thought this thing was a bit unsettling, but I'm also fairly certain that there should be two of them. Surely one of them didn't just get up and walk away, though, did it? And do I actually want an answer to this question?
Forget-me-nots. Those are for... Oh, rosemary's for remembrance. Geraniums, I believe, are radioactive.
Hello, won't you join me, please? I've some urgent business to discuss. Hello, miss. I wonder if you might consider doing me a favor and changing the shape of your mighty construct here.
Not unless those changes have been approved by Master Nick, sir. Now, if you'll excuse me. Obviously.
It's just a jumble of numbers and letters which apparently communicate some vital piece of information to the Royal Mail. It says 00D4L4Y. It's just a jumble of numbers and letters which apparently communicate some vital piece of information to the Royal Mail. It says 00D4L4Y. Neither rain, nor snow, nor glom of knit will keep me from fetching Master Nick's very important hardware store circulars.
And roses... I don't think roses hold any particular symbolic meaning whatsoever. Daffodils, those are for heroism.
How would that even work? Yes, of course, that's brilliant! That will solve all my current problems. Wait, no, sorry, it won't work at all. I don't know why I said that.
What's this then?
Just some amendments to your ever-expanding hedge maze project, sir.
I don't remember signing off on these.
No, sir, you're signing off on them now.
Am I? Oh, it would appear that I am. Well spotted, Willikins.
Indeed, sir. I can't see much point in doing that. Sir, I must insist that you allow me to look under your bed.
Willikins, I've decided to try being indecisive. I always wanted to be a logical paradox.
Really, sir? Is that what you've always wanted to be today?
And so, in answer to the question, may I look under the bed, I say to you, I don't know.
You don't know?
That's right.
Sir, you realize I'm doing all of this to exonerate you of the rather serious murder charges that are currently hanging over you.
Then you better help me make up my mind quickly, hadn't you?
Very well. Yes, I may look under your bed.
Not good enough. I need you to introduce some kind of random element. A device of some sort that will make the decision for me in a satisfyingly unpredictable fashion.
Sir, you're just needlessly complicating things at this point.
Oh, you always say that. Now off you go.
Here, sir.
What the hell is this thing?
It's a, magic 8-ball, sir.
What is it, electrical or something? Do I need to switch it on? Oh, I see. It's already on. That's clever.
Indeed.
Now then, Magic 8-Ball, guide me with your 80 wisdom. Tell me if I should let Willikins do that thing what he's whinging on about.
Saving your life, sir?
Right, that one. And the answer is... Well, this may come as a bit of a surprise to you, Willikins, but the answer is no.
Really?
Which means you lose. You don't get the thing you want. What thing was that again?
I most emphatically did not want to look under your bed, sir.
Oh then, the 8-Ball has spoken. I order you to look under my bed this instant.
Very good, sir. If there's any possible chance this is the murder weapon, I should not touch it with my bare hands.
Willikins, what are you doing out there?
I was just picking up this object under your bed.
Yes, of course. Only... could you not do that?
Sir?
That is to say, could you go and wait in the dressing room for a moment first? As a good chap.
Sir, I must say, this isn't making you appear to be less guilty.
Just go in there and wait until I give the all clear. Then I promise you can have whatever rubbish you find under there.
Very good, sir. Well, I can't be absolutely certain, but I believe the plumbing has backed up again. And there's only one place the excess water can go in this house when that happens.
Okay, it's safe.
Much as I'd like to crawl into my subterranean hole and hide from all this, it would appear to be flooded. I managed to retrieve the line before that rodent gnawed completely through it. That little blight is going to be trouble. This may be the first time in all my years of working here that I've used poison as a verb, and not in the way I'd always imagined it either. That dead rat won't even be in the top 10 smelliest things I've had to deal with down there, sadly. The diameter of the gnome's pointy cap would seem to match the diameter of the wound on our foyer corpse. I believe I may indeed have obtained the murder weapon. After a considerable fashion. Would you please come out again so I can speak with you?
What can I do for you?
Good morning. I have some revisions from his lordship. And I do hope you don't see this as a rejection of the fine work you've done here thus far.
Well, this seems a bit more direct than his lordship's other suggestions. But this is clearly his signature, so off I go then.
Oh my. Good heavens, the girl's a natural.
There we are. Precisely to his lordship's specifications.
Who knew so much of this job would involve having to plug things in? This setting allows the dish to receive American television, so we can see those well-known American celebrities, John Oliver and Hugh Laurie. This setting allows the dish to receive British television, which mostly consists of Coronation Street. This setting allows the dish to receive... question marks?
We've gathered the 5 components for the Professor's machine from the 5 corners of the globe. Now we can finally stop Baron Malevolent.
Meow!
What is it, Astro Cat?
Meow!
Oh no, a deadly dick bat!
Hey kids, join the Sarcasters. You get all this cool stuff, including a nifty decoder ring. It's easy and it's fun.
Well, good. Now I can order myself a collectible keepsake from that children's cartoon. God, I hope none of my classmates from Cambridge can see what I've made of my life.
Welcome to Sarcasteers Central, home of Dottie Patrol and our exciting one-of-a-kind decoder ring.
Didn't I speak with you earlier today?
Not unless you dialed 999. Wait, is that Willikins? Hello again, this is Beryl.
Are you the only telephone operator in England?
Cool, it feels that way sometimes, doesn't it?
Rather. Now then, I'd like to order...
A decoder ring? I guessed it was that, since that's the only thing we sell here. According to our records, we already sent one of those to a Petunia of Nick Hall some time ago. Were you looking for a free replacement to be sent to the same address?
Yes, that would work nicely, thank you.
Righto. We'll get that in the post via the fastest means we have available.
No need. I'm certain it'll be in our post box by the time I make it all the way out there. Master Nick insisted that we spare the postman the strain of having to walk all the way up to the hall. Clearly this isn't a concern when it comes to the likes of me, however. Anyway, thanks. Goodbye. This would appear to be the all-important decoder ring, upon which my entire day now hinges, for some inexplicable reason. The note says that Master Nick's sanity certificate is in the library portion of his drawing room, inside the book, The Lion, the Witch, and the Very Big Fish. Ah, finally, official documentation of Master Nick's sanity. That's all 4 of Clever Roose's rather condescending puzzle pieces found. I suppose I should phone him now and be condescended to further.
reached Clever Ruse?
Yes, hello, this is Willikins the butler, from Nick Hall.
Yes? You must be very proud.
We spoke earlier at length. You came here and told me what evidence I'd need to present in order to solve the murder that took place earlier today.
Oh, yes, of course. You've located that evidence, then.
More or less, yes.
And said evidence exonerates your lord and master?
As far as you know, yes.
Excellent. I shall be there momentarily. Meet me at the scene of the crime.
Very good. Obviously, some of this evidence paints Master Nick in a, shall we say, less than innocent light. But I think I can accidentally omit those details when presenting it to Mr. Roos.
Excellent work, chap. Top notch. Couldn't have done it better myself.
You didn't.
Yes, but now comes the most important bit. Assembling this data into an official Clever Ruse information packet for easy consumption, processing, and adaptation into various forms of highly lucrative media.
So you're going to take the hard work I've done, scrawl your name at the top, and take credit for the whole thing.
It's a bit more complicated than that.
Is it? Explain it to me, then.
No time for that. I have an important call to make. I shall be in this adjoining room here, not to be disturbed.
Who does he think he is, ordering me about like that?
That's my job!
Off I go! What was that code we'd agreed upon for when someone we don't want hanging about is hanging about? Well, I can't remember it either. That's why I asked you. Don't forget it. The point is, someone is in the room now, and I can't say anything. Yes, I have all the evidence that clears Lord Nick's name. No, I didn't need to lift a finger. I convinced the idiot butler to do it for me. He's quite the idiot. And also extremely ugly.
Well, that's just hurtful.
And get this, he actually believed I was affiliated with law enforcement. Didn't ask to see a single credential. Ugly idiot. Of course I'm going to bug it down the loo. What better way to destroy the evidence, assuring his inevitable execution, and then I shall have unfettered access to those bearer bonds. No, I don't know what they are, but I know they're valuable. Something to do with the war, I think. Anyway, that's my sinister plan. But look at me dominating the conversation. How have you been? I see. Yes. Oh, and how is Uncle Alfie? Still dead, then?
Good heavens, I must call emergency services immediately.
Emergency services, how may I direct your call?
I've urgent business to discuss and... Hang on, you're not the girl I spoke with earlier.
Oh, well spotted, sir. I can see from our display that you're calling from a rather posh mansion, so you may not comprehend this. But working folk are entitled to a day off once in a while. We are, despite the way you lot treat us, human.
Yes, of course. As the personal servant to a rather difficult master,
Are you taking the piss, sir?
I beg your pardon?
We ain't servants. We've no use for that archaic class-based nonsense here. Now, what was it that you wanted?
I must speak with Detective Inspector Bobby at once.
A servant
servant speak to an inspector? Not on my watch, sir. D.I. Bobby is much too busy to waste her time on the likes of you.
Really, this is rather urgent.
Well, if it's so bloody urgent, I'm sure your master will have no trouble phoning back.
Well, that was a real roller coaster of class politics. Suppose I'll have to convince Master Nick to phone for the inspector. Sir, if you would, the authorities require an authority to convince them to return to the hall, and I suppose that means you. Sir, are you in there? Master Nick? Hello?
Willikins, why would you think I'd be in bed? I'm in the kitchen. Butter yourself down here at once. Willikins, where the hell have you been?
I was about to ask you the same question, sir. Although I may not have phrased it quite so aggressively, depending on how I was feeling at the moment.
I was lying in my bed wondering why I was feeling so bloody peckish when I realized you never actually fed me today. So, at considerable risk to my person, I came down here to see if we were somehow out of food. Not only did I discover that we were not, which therefore means you're just as lazy as I always suspected you to be, but I also found the hole in a state that I can only describe as a complete disaster.
Yes, sir, only I have been devoting considerable time and energy to clearing you of these murder charges. And, to that end, I need you to phone the police at, as you would say, Wumps.
Ah, no you don't. I'm not lifting a bloody finger for you until you answer for this mess. Starting with this room here, the food laboratory?
The kitchen, sir.
Right, that thing. Now, I know you were down here at least twice today, and as far as I can tell, you just sort of wandered away without preparing me any food. Why did you do that? Where's my food? And most importantly, why did you do that?
As it happens, sir, that was when I overheard the murder occurring in our foyer, so I went to investigate.
Oh, you went to investigate, did you? Like you're some bloody great detective who isn't a complete pillock. Honestly, you're so thick, and not in the American sense of having a desirable bottom.
Much to my continued embarrassment, your good great-aunt Petunia would beg to differ, sir.
Nevertheless, this is an unacceptable response. Try again.
Because I'm a rubbish butler?
Go on.
Who is terrible at everything?
Correct! Now to the wine cellar for further admonishments.
Oh, good.
Now then, I very generously granted you this personal living space when you wouldn't stop grumbling about sharing a kennel with my little dog Willikins.
Extremely generous of you, yes, sir.
And now I see that you converted it to a bloody swimming hole. We're not zoned for that, Willikins. Explain yourself.
Because I'm literally the most worthless, thick-headed soul to ever draw breath.
Got it in one. Or possibly two. I can't be asked to count. Right, now it's on to the front garden.
Sir, this all seems a bit needlessly complicated.
It would seem that way to you, wouldn't it? And now we come to this. You do realise that is meant to be a hedge maze of doom, don't you, Willikins? Only now there's this obvious gaping hole in the thing that any idiot could easily escape from. Possibly even you.
Because I'm a jerk, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir. A complete knee-biter.
There, that wasn't so hard now, was it?
Humiliating myself 3 times in a row? No, sir, that's just a typical day here at Nick Hall.
Too right. Now, what pointless thing was it that you wanted me to do?
I need you to phone the police, sir. It turns out that clever Roos fellow is attempting to scam us.
What, like in that movie where that bloke's head exploded?
No, sir, that's scanners.
What, like the Hulk's secret identity?
No, sir, that's Bruce Banner.
What, that trolley little man what's always on Hollywood Squares?
No, sir, that's Bruce Valanche.
What, like my fourth favourite flavour of Dorito?
I don't believe Dorito is spelled that way, sir, but no, that's Cool Ranch.
What, like when Marge Simpson had a mental breakdown?
No, sir, that's Rancho Relaxo.
Constable Bobby returned to Nick Hall, whereupon she was regaled with an accounting of the true events that unfolded that fateful morning.
There I was, sequestered in my chambers. Willikins had ruined my brekkie twice and was almost certainly about to muck it up again. I got bored waiting for his inevitable failure, so I ventured downstairs of my own renaissance.
Sir, don't you mean recognizance?
No, there I met Errol, who, in keeping with tradition, was stealing my newspaper to have a look at the page 4 girl.
Surely you mean the page 6 girl?
No! Unfortunately, before I could forthwith and heretofore arrive upon the scene in question, Willikins had got there first.
But, sir, I was clearly in the kitchen.
Not you, my little dog, Willikins.
You have a dog called Willikins. Doesn't that get confusing?
Not to me.
Him.
Apparently, Errol was not expecting the presence of a personage of the canine persuasion and, startled, stumbled backwards, impaling himself on my commemorative garden schlag. Impaling himself fatally to death until he died. And since I didn't want the authorities taking my little dog away, I hid him up here. The end.
That all makes perfect sense, sir, but there's one thing.
Ah, no you don't. The murder is solved and I'm innocent. Don't you go all Columbo on me now.
It's a fair cop. Unfortunately, we shall now have to bring someone else in for questioning.
Ah, yes, the so-called detective, Clever Roos.
What? Who? Never heard of him. I meant the dog. You, my little murdering fellow, are coming with me.
Oh no!
Will Nick's dog be executed for murder? Was the vast majority of this game actually a pointless waste of everyone's time? And what of poor Errol?
Still dead.
I'm actually not sure why I'm asking these questions, because the story is over now. Roll credits!